I will call to order the Ottawa City Commission meeting for Wednesday, August 5th, 2026. May I have roll call, please?
Mayor Clayton,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Crowley,
Present.
Commissioner Allen,
Present.
Commissioner Skidmore,
Present.
Commissioner Van Layden.
Present.
We are all present and accounted for. I want to welcome everyone here in the audience, as well as those watching online, those watching next door. We will do the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation by Pastor Nathan Mudd of Ottawa Community Church.
Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Good evening, commissioners and everyone. Very glad to be able to be a part of this. What a big crowd. I want to, as I do, just read something from Scripture that leads into an invocation. Philippians chapter 2. So if there is any encouragement in Christ, any comfort from love, any participation in the Spirit, any affection and sympathy, complete my joy by being of the same mind, having the same love, being in full accord and of one mind. And so, Lord, we come to you this evening, and I thank you for the spirit of Ottawa. Lord, I thank you for the representation of its people. I thank you for our leaders, and as I pray often that you will give wisdom and that you will bless each of our commissioners, our city staff. And so, Lord, we enter into this meeting asking for this, a unity of heart and mind, an encouragement, a sympathy, and a sibling sort of love. I ask for this in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Thank you, Pastor. And congratulations on winning the watermelon eating contest at Unity Fest. That will take us to item 6, the consent agenda, which will consist of minutes from the July 22nd, 2026 regular meeting, July 29th, 2026 study session, OMA boiler project change order, appointment of Michael Wilson to the OMA advisory board, and agenda approval.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I move that we approve the consent agenda with the addition of, under agenda approval, we add the proclamation for Bethany Chapel Baptist Church.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second for the amended agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That will take us to item 8, public comments. Oh, pardon me. That'll take us to item 7. Jumped right over it. We just added it. Appointments, proclamations, and recognitions. 159th anniversary of Bethany Chapel Baptist Church. Proclamation will be read by Commissioner Allen, and it will be received by Reverend Robertson.
The proclamation reads as follows. Whereas Bethany Chapel Baptist Church was organized in 1867 by Reverend Gabriel Gary of Lawrence, Kansas, along with 12 other individuals as the Third Baptist Church. And whereas a permanent place of worship was established in 1873 under the leadership of Reverend Thomas Wilson at First and Sycamore, and then to the present location of 135 South Poplar. And whereas a fire completely destroyed the church on August 4th, 2014, and a new church was built. And whereas Bethany Chapel Baptist Church will have a celebration on August 11th, 2026. And now, therefore, the governing body of the city of Ottawa, Kansas does hereby recognize the contributions made to our community by the members of Bethany Chapel Baptist Church in Ottawa, Kansas, and joins the congregation in celebration of their 159th anniversary. Signed this 5th day of August, 2026 by our mayor, Zach Clayton.
Whoever else you want to bring.
Richard, come on, where are you at?
Commissioners. On behalf of Bethany Chapel Baptist Church, we thank you. Our pastor could not be here this morning. His mother has stage 4 cancer, so he had to be with her today. But we just like to say thank you. We're just glad to be a part of this community and so glad that you guys are a part of us as you help us in so many ways. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you.
That will take us to item 8, public comments.
We have 17 registered. We'll start with Chris Mays.
Chris Mays, 100 block of South Locust. I think City Hall is only thinking of the rosy money projections the data center might generate, and you've latched on to the sanctioning of data centers at the state level as your shield. You're banking on that despite a tech bubble liable to burst, despite some legislators that approved the gut-and-go bill fast-forwarding them now calling for moratoriums. Also, despite low, long-term data center employment levels and uncertainties of even long-term tax money flow. You're trusting to regulators to safeguard the city and pressing onward despite our numerous and loud objections. Yet recent reports of the EPA lessening regulations seem to substantiate our concerns that they are only mandating these things. And KDHE has been crippled by huge budget cuts, but that's not your oversight, right? There is another problem, equally as big. I feel the city commission is losing touch with its constituents. The lack of transparency, signing NDAs that favor corporate interest over us drives a wedge between us. The commission needs to do some soul searching and re-embrace transparency, also the representation of even those it may not agree strongly with. I hope you start by informing us during your ending comments what the status of Lightfield is, and I hope you at least reconsider and refuse any further extensions for Lightfield. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Scott Yergit.
I'm Scott Yergin. I live at 3332 Rock Creek Road, Ottawa, Kansas. Section 5 of the purchase and sale contract between the City of Ottawa and Lightfield Energy requires Lightfield Energy to, 1, notify Ottawa in writing by August 1st, 2026 with an approval notice indicating that Lightfield will go forward with proximity park purchase. Or 2, still quoting from the contract, that Lightfield will not go forward with the purchase. Or 3, Lightfield may issue no writing to Ottawa by August 1st, in which case the purchase contract is terminated. I respectfully request that the commission or its counsel, who's not here tonight, tell me now in this form which of these 3 options Lightfield chose. Thank you. I'll stand here for the answer, or if no answer, then until my 3 minutes expires, and that's what I'll do. If I stand here in silence waiting for your response, my silence is part of my public comment.
Thank you, Scott.
Polly Steamer.
Good evening. I'm going to read something I found. I've put a piece of paper that's in front of you. This is from a document called the Kansas Election Standards. It's from the Kansas Secretary of State's website. Chapter 7, called Holding Public Office, paragraph 2A. The Kansas courts found in Anderson versus City of Parsons that, quote, "We recognize the common law principle that a public officer owes an undivided duty to the public whom he serves and is not permitted to place himself in a position that will subject him to conflicting duties or cause him to act other than for the best interest of the public," unquote. So I have a little something more. Section 5A of the purchase and sale contract between the City of Ottawa and Lightfield requires Lightfield to, 1, notify Ottawa in writing by August 1st, 2026, with an approval of notice indicating, 1, Lightfield will go forward with proximity park purchase, or 2, that Lightfield will not go forward with the purchase, or 3, Lightfield may issue no writing to Ottawa by August 1st, in which case the purchase contract is terminated. I respectfully request that the commission or its counsel tell me now in this forum which of those 3 options Lightfield chose. And I'll just stand here and wait for an answer while until my 3 minutes are up.
Thank you, Polly.
Rich Colson.
Rich Golson, 1610 Blue Stem. I think it's an absolute embarrassment that you cowards have said nothing when you've been asked twice. Absolute embarrassment. Over the last couple of weeks, dozens of dedicated members of the public have volunteered hundreds, if not thousands, of hours of their own time to stand in the heat and sun to gather signatures from citizens that demand and deserve the right to decide on the matter of a hyperscale data center in our community. We have endured the scorching Kansas summer heat and humidity to make certain that our voices are finally heard. We have been ignored for far too long, and we are finally standing up for our rights. We are not going away, and we will not give in. You were elected by us to represent our interests, not rule with absolute authority, ignoring the will of the people. Well, we the people have spoken. We have spoken with a single voice louder than any time I can remember in this community. It's time for you to listen. It's time for the 6. Yes, I include Blaine Finch, since it's obvious he's pulling a lot of strings in this matter, to actually do what you were elected to do, represent the will of the people. This evening, I will leave you with 2 important numbers. The first is 839. That's the largest number of votes any of you 5 received to put you in those seats. The second number is 1,031. That's how many voter signatures were presented to City Hall yesterday. 131 very upset voters that are demanding that for once the City Commission listen to them. You are all intelligent people. I don't think I need to elaborate on how different these two numbers are and what the potential ramifications of ignoring the will of the people may be. You now have a choice. Prove your character and become a hero in your community, or face the wrath of an extremely upset voter base. You decide, and you're an embarrassment.
Thank you, Rich.
Deanna Kimes.
Hi, my name is Deanna Kimes. I live at 1111 East 9th. And I'd like to thank the commissioners for giving us the opportunity to voice our opinions. And I would also like to thank the citizens of Ottawa for taking a stand against this data center and signing the petition to get it on the ballot to vote. I'm really proud of you. I think that's a great thing that you've done. When the community comes together as one, we can make a difference. So make sure that you all get out to vote. I'm still fighting data centers because I know the harm that will be done to our environment. And I still find it preposterous that you did your research and that you could not see the ramifications of a data center down the road. That really surprises me. Makes me wonder if you really did your research. I'm very concerned about the water situation. I understand that over time this will reduce our water table. It will eventually take the water level to a point that wells will not be able to produce water, and many people in Franklin County depend upon wells for their livestock, some for their drinking, a lot of different things. And if our water table is lowered, what are those people going to do for water? They're just going to look at the data center. And we all know that pollution, everything about it in our environment, and I am still to find one good thing that comes from a data center. It will bring many jobs to our community, but as I have researched these jobs, I have found out that these jobs are brought in by the company doing the work. And after the jobs are finished, do you know where those workers go? They go on to the next work site. They don't stay in Ottawa. And the number of jobs that it takes to run the data center after it is built is at the most 25 and sometimes 5 or 10. Now that's going to be a really big help to the jobs in Ottawa, Kansas, isn't it? When everybody else moves on. That doesn't help us at all. The data center makes Franklin County and Ottawa look as if we're for sale for the highest bidder, and the citizens can just go hang. These companies are prioritizing money over human lives and wildlife. It's all about money. AI is the most anti-human technology ever developed. It is trashing communities. Statistics show that the data centers in the last 40 years
Thank you, Deanna.
only last 15, and then they're obsolete because of the advancement of technology, which you know is extremely rapid.
Thank you.
Eileen Spickler.
Hi, my name is Eileen Spickler, and I live at 601 South Burrs, Lot 24. And I, first of all, want to thank Mr. Skidmore and Mr. Crowley for talking with me at length after the last session that I was here, and I was really grateful. I feel like it was a really good dialogue, which is why I'm a little puzzled as to why there are no answers forthcoming. When people were talking and waiting in silence, everybody was looking down, looking around. The only person who looked at the person speaking was Mayor Clayton. And so that's frustrating to me. And it makes the contract says one thing, and we're still not getting answers. I want to play a video of a Microsoft lawyer that was recorded saying, nobody really wants a data center in their backyard. I don't want a data center in my backyard. Data centers, once they're operational, don't bring a lot of jobs. And I'm going to hold it up. Need to turn my, I'm just going to play it for you.
Nobody really wants a data center in their backyard. I don't want a data center in my backyard. So you do get a lot of pushback, and you need buy-in from the community because you have to get permits to do that work. And you have government officials that they are elected by the community. They certainly want to make their constituents happy. And so you in turn have to make their constituents happy so that you can still get your permit and you can still operate there. Data centers, once they are operational, don't bring a lot of jobs. They do on the construction side, but you're not really getting a ton of that community benefit from having a data center really, truly in your backyard. And nobody really wants a data center in their backyard. I don't want a data center in my backyard. So you do get a lot of pushback, and you need buy-in from the community because you have to get permits to do that work.
Okay, sorry, it went on repeat, but thank you for listening. And I mean, I appreciate it. It must be really hard to come up here and listen to all of us rail at you, but we're railing because we don't understand and we want answers. You're public servants. You're elected as a public servant, and part of your job is to keep us informed, and we are not getting answers, and not getting answers is definitely, in our eyes, placing big business over the welfare of the citizens and the city and the county. So I'm not sure what else to say. I know this is going to go on a little bit, but I'm very, very surprised not to hear any kind of answer when the deadline was the 1st and it's now the 5th. So thank you so much for hearing me out.
Thank you, Eileen.
Barb and Shay Messick.
Barb Messick. I live in the 200 block of West 3rd.
I am Shay
And you live? Just say the town.
Gardner.
Okay. As you can see, I brought the Lorax with us today. And while I do hope that it makes some people smile, what we're here for about is very serious. As you may or may not know, the Lorax speaks for the trees because the trees have no tongues. And sorry, not good at public speaking. And I just wanted to make sure that you understood, again, as the Lorax says, unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. And one more thing from the Lorax, a tree falls the way it leans. Please be careful which way you lean and what you lean into. Section A5 or 5A of the purchase and sale contract between the City of Ottawa and Lightfield Energy requires Lightfield Energy to 1, notify Ottawa in writing by August 1st, 2026 with an approval notice indicating that Lightfield will go forward with proximity park purchase, or 2, that Lightfield will not go forward with the purchase, or 3, Lightfield may issue no writing to Ottawa by August 1st, 2026, in which case the purchase contract is terminated. I respectfully request that the commission or its council tell us now, in this forum, which of these 3 options Lightfield Energy chose. I appreciate your letting us speak. I'll go ahead and stand here for the remainder of my 3 minutes to wait for an answer. And if there is no answer, please consider my silence part of my testimony.
Thank you, Barbara and Shay.
Daniel White.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Daniel White. I live at 4101 Montana. For weeks, I have sat in this room and watched. I watched citizens show up after working all day. I watched parents sacrifice time with their children. I watched retirees spend hours reading documents most people would never touch. I watched neighbors come to this podium because they believed that their elected officials wanted to hear them. And then I watched something else. I watched a commission that demands respect from the public, while too often failing to return that same respect. So let's settle something tonight. Respect is not a privilege that comes with a title. It is earned. Every meeting, every decision, every interaction with the people that you are elected to serve. When a citizen stands at this podium, that is not an interruption to your evening. That is your job. Listen. Pay attention. Show the people who put you in those seats that they matter. Now let's talk about who you work for. Not the loudest voice. Not the wealthiest applicant. Not the consultants. Not the attorneys. Not the corporations. You work for the people of Ottawa. The people sitting right beside me. The people paying taxes. The people raising families. The people who will still be here long after every consultant has packed up a laptop and every corporate representation has driven out of town. This city is not another project. It is not another agenda item. It is not another business opportunity. It is home. And as Commissioner Allen kindly reminded us, more than 12,000 people call Ottawa home. To us, these decisions are not theoretical. They're personal. Every vote you cast shapes the future of our community. Every decision either strengthens the public's trust or chips away at it. And the trust, once it's lost, it is incredibly difficult to rebuild. So here's what I expect. When a citizen comes to this podium, look them in the eye. Listen to what they're saying. Treat them with the same professionalism that you expect from them. You are simply entrusted to occupy them. For now. Titles do not command respect. Power does not command respect. Authority does not command respect. Your conduct does. Every meeting is another opportunity to earn the confidence of this community or to lose more of it. We're paying attention, and we will remember. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel.
Terry Cloutier.
Terry Cloutier, 905 North Hemlock. I've been up here 2 other times. First time I came up here, I talked to you about my personal beliefs and what I believe this community is for, and about my family. My background's in wildlife biology, and that's why I talked to you the second time about the wildlife concerns, the water concerns. This time, I want to do something a little bit different and just comment on some things that happened. At the last meeting, I came up here, there was a gentleman sitting back there, and he said, what's all the deal about this data center? He said, I don't get it. I sat down and talked with him for about 20 minutes before the meeting, and we agreed to disagree. He built data centers in another state. He was here, though, for one of his relatives getting an award. So that was, I wasn't going to talk to him anymore about that. But I do think it was unique in our conversation that I brought up all the environmental things that I talked about that night. And he said, you know what? It's nice about America. He says, I make a hell of a lot of money off this stuff. He said, and we disagree. He said, that's what's great about America. And I said, man, you're right. We do disagree. And the other thing I thought strange when I first started hearing about this, you know, the data center and the secret things. I'm not much of a conspiracy theorist at all, and didn't believe in it. But I did do something at the first two meetings I went to. And I didn't watch anybody who spoke, except briefly. But I watched up on this board. And I got to tell you, there's two of people on that board that do not belong. I don't believe they give a rat's butt about what's going on. If you look at those past meetings and you look at the body language, I don't care what they say. You can say anything you want. Your actions and your body language will prove what you do. So, this whole thing about all the secret things going on and all that, you guys could have killed that right away. But the two people up there who don't look at people, will not look at people in the eye, unlike you, Mayor, which will. I don't believe they care. I don't believe they need to be working for us, the people of the city of Ottawa.
Thank you, Terry.
Sam White.
Alrighty, good evening. I'm going kind of in a little bit different direction, but this one is severely needed as well. This evening, I'm talking about something that should concern every American who values the word freedom. The growing use of flock surveillance cameras in our communities, and those are what I'm going to be talking about, and it's geared mostly for the 5 individuals here and that gentleman sitting back there. Before I truly get into meat and potatoes of the amount of violations of the Constitution that these things have done, a few quick statistics, such as 1 out of every 10 readings are actually successful, and a general rating of 71% failure rating across the country is what we're seeing. In California alone, 86 towns, countries, and townships have decided in the last 3.5 weeks that they are done with these things, and they're going to be voted off and voted out of their towns. With that being said, on to the Constitution, which is the biggest reason why these need to be taken down. It baffles me that this is even a conversation that we have to have, because as elected officials, you represent the town, the public, your constituents. And as individuals of law enforcement, you both actually have a commonality between the two of you. You take what we call an oath. It's very sacred, and it's been going around this country for a very long time, and it's something you should take to heart. I feel like between our law enforcement agency and our city council, that oath was either not taken seriously or just completely thrown away the moment you pretended like you actually followed through with it. That's a problem. And the best way to fix it is by bringing this thing to a vote at some point. And I don't mean like 2020, spring 2027. I mean like next week. You as a city council actually have that ability to do that. Any one of the 5 of you can go, hey, I'd like to bring this to a vote. You get a hold of your law enforcement agency, you have a conversation with the chief or whoever you need to have a conversation with, and you create something that allows you to vote these out. Flock cameras are provided by a private institution, correct, but they're illegally ran by a public institution, the law enforcement institution, and they violate the 1st, 4th, 9th, and 14th Amendment, and at some point they will violate the 2nd Amendment because these things have audio, and at some point they will have video. Last I checked, we are a republic, not a communist China country. I don't want to see my country fall into the toilet of surveillance. I will continue speaking on this as it is an important manner until the day I see these things die. And if that means heroes around this country continue to help with that manner in any way means necessary until a city council gets a grip on it, then so be it. But you will continue to see me speak upon this, and I hope you guys sincerely consider this. And I sincerely hope our law enforcement agent, because safety is obviously a big thing. So with that, I appreciate your time. Thank you for listening. Thank you for looking at me, everybody, and enjoy your evenings.
Thank you, Sam.
Colleen Grillette.
Good evening. My name is Colleen Griot, and I was in last month with my 4-year-old son talking about the concerns I have for his health as he is 1 year in remission from stage 3 kidney cancer. But tonight I want to talk about the health of children in general and the data center. The EPA itself recognizes that children are especially vulnerable to air pollution because their lungs, brains, and immune systems are still developing. Children breathe more air for their body weight than adults, and exposure to the certain pollutions that specifically will be emitted from the data center have been associated to significant medical issues, asthma, respiratory illnesses, cardiovascular diseases. I mean, it's, bad. As expected, the risks are even worse for children who are medically vulnerable. Those are not opinions, those are established public health facts. The EPA also acknowledges that studies suggest certain environmental contaminants like air pollution may contribute to the development of some childhood cancers and increase cancer risks later in life. As a parent who has been through a child with cancer, let me tell you some facts of why we want to not even just, it's not worth it. Did you know that childhood cancers are among the most neglected for research and advancements? Only 2% of the government's research funding would go to pediatric cancer as a whole every year. To kind of put that into perspective, that's what Starbucks or any fast food chain makes in 2 days. Did you also know that there's only 6 chemo drugs intended for pediatric use in existence? And if your child doesn't have one of those specific cancers that benefits from those 6 chemo medications, their survival is based off of adult chemo medications dosed down. Did you know that because they're forced to receive drugs that are far from intended for their brittle developing bodies, that 95% of kids fortunate enough to survive their cancer will still be left with some form of lifelong permanent effect and health problem? I'm not asking for you to assume that every child will get sick or every child is going to get cancer. I'm asking you recognize that when credible scientific evidence tells us children are more vulnerable to industrial air pollution, and when uncertainty still exists about the final design and long-term emissions of this project, the responsible choice is precaution, not expansion. Economic development is important, but no tax revenue, no incentive package, and no promised jobs are more valuable than protecting the health of the children who will grow up here. Children are supposed to be the future, not guinea pigs.
Thank you, Colleen.
Evan Dorenzo. Evan Dorenzo.
Hi, my name is Evan Dorenzo. I live at 1608 Blue Stem Drive. I spoke at a meeting about a month ago, and after all the speakers had passed, you all had mentioned that, one of you had mentioned that your only concern with the data center was about noise. And I just thought that was really interesting that, you're not concerned with the air pollution or the water pollution, or the power bills and the power outages that come with these data centers. You can look around the country and you can see that there's a lot more threats than just noise. And, if the deal is so good, then why are all of the details secret? If the deal was so good, I'd feel like it would be, a lot more public. The NDAs are suspicious. You all are elected officials. I don't feel like that's very appropriate. And finally, I think that the promised taxes are kind of unlikely. The deal starts off with a massive tax break. It's a big secret deal with a massive tax break. You can't put a price on clean air and clean water. Silicon Valley tech bro billionaires don't become Silicon Valley tech bro billionaires by paying taxes. So all of these promised rewards, I think that they're probably mostly empty promises, but the threats aren't empty threats. And finally, I just think, why are they targeting small rural towns so heavily with these data centers? It's because they think that there's nobody out there to stand up for us and protect us from the dangers, but that's your job. Thank you.
Thank you, Evan.
Kareen Olam.
Good evening. I'm Corinne Ullum. I live at 1240 South Hickory. First, I would again, like others have said, like to thank you for continuing to take public comments. I understand that this opportunity is at your discretion. I am equal parts surprised, saddened, and dismayed by what I've learned about local governance over the last 2 to 3 months. I had no idea how truly few opportunities there were for regular citizen engagement and participation. Yes, you offer the occasional public comment opportunity for this or that issue, but only at your discretion. It's not truly participatory. And to be sure, I'm very glad that these meetings are streamed and recorded. That does indeed allow our citizenry to be informed if they so choose. I learned recently that in the not too distant past, Ottawa had regular, even monthly forums where citizens could hear from the city manager, the superintendent of schools, the chief of police, the presidents of our local community college and university, etc. Why was that practice stopped? In the absence of a decent local paper, Facebook is about the only way to find out what's happening in our community. And I don't need to tell you that many, many people do not use Facebook. You need to do better about keeping us informed. But it's more than basic reporting that we need. We need pathways to true citizen engagement. People have great ideas, but the door seems closed to us. It is unclear to us how we propose new ideas. It's unclear how an ordinary citizen could work to have their ideas considered and discussed, added to an agenda, discussed at a study session. It's all a big black dark hole to the rest of us who are not on the inside. Please work to change that. Your last bullet point on your public comment guidelines says comments will be taken under advisement. Please take mine under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you, Corinne.
Susan Hughes.
Hello, I'm Susan Hughes, 1201 South Ash. So like last week, the city put out a public press media about why we've been losing electricity so much, which was good because I was getting rather frustrated. Like one Saturday, I lost power 3 times, not a cloud in the sky, but I did get really good at resetting all my clocks. So that was a good thing. But I would appreciated the city then telling us why this had been happening. I am very much more frustrated about not having any idea what's going on at the data center. I'm really kind of spoiled. I expect when I turn on that light switch, I'm going to have electricity and my light's going to come on. I expect when I turn on that tap, I'm going to get clear, clean water. And I think this data center jeopardizes both of those expectations. Not only do they say that they're going to use 5 million gallons of water a day that we cannot afford to use, even worse, I think, is the contamination. I know it's a closed loop system, they say, and people say, oh, that's better, no problem. Okay, closed loop water does require heavy chemical treatment to prevent corrosion, and it must occasionally be flushed or dumped. While these systems are highly effective at preventing daily water evaporation, the fluid trapped inside them changes chemically over time. When a data center has to empty this water, it cannot be simply poured down the drain, but because it contains a highly concentrated mix of anti-corrosive chemicals, biocides, and dissolved heavy metals. It must be treated as industrial or toxic wastewater. We do not have any system to test for this. We do not have any system to treat for this. And you're putting the citizens of not just the city of Ottawa, but the people surrounding that area and downstream from it at extreme risk.
Thank you, Susan.
Beth Hamill.
I was going to repeat this note that everybody's been doing, but I took pity on you guys and decided that I wouldn't do that. However, I've spoken before. Oh, by the way, Beth Hamill, 2559 Nebraska Road, Ottawa. Sorry about that. I should have written something down and done this, but I didn't. I before said, please don't do this. I'm going to say it again. Please don't do this. My farm, which is a farm, is less than 1 mile from where this data center is going to be. So picture yourself buying this piece of property. It was a terrible mess, fixing it all up, And then knowing that your whole entire world is going to change, really, nobody's bringing up a lot of light pollution comes from data centers, an enormous amount of light pollution. So you have air pollution, you have water pollution, you have light pollution, you have noise pollution. We get nothing from it. They get a big tax break. Just doesn't seem fair. So please, I beg you to reconsider and not let this data center become the monster that it's looking like it'll become. Thank you.
Thank you, Beth.
Michael Lewis.
Good evening, Michael Lewis, 433 South Poplar. I want to talk about a few numbers. Nearly 13,000 population of Ottawa, Kansas. Over 26,000 population of Franklin County. Those numbers are the amount of people, men, women, and children, that will be affected by the harmful consequences of the physical and environmental impacts this project will bring over its lifespan. A few additional numbers: 805, 836, 839. Those are the amount of votes unofficially for the 3 recently elected or re-elected commissioners of this body in 2025. 15. That is how many days it took around 24 volunteers to collect 1,031 signatures to bring forth a petition-led ordinance banning hyperscale data centers. That ordinance will be on your desk in the coming days or weeks. What you do with it, the public will see. The last number I'll reference tonight, 8/1. That is the date that a decision was to be made. If you are as transparent as you claim, then why is the subject not on the agenda? With my remaining time, I want to read an excerpt from CBRE, the property management group that is marketing Proximity Park. This is from an earnings call following a question from Barclays Capital. The CEO of CBRE responded in part by saying, "So yes, there's all kind of pressures. When anything becomes that big and rapidly changing and uses up resources the way data centers use up resources, there's going to be some challenges. But we expect a very, very substantial, sustained opportunity in the creation of data centers and an even bigger long-term opportunity in the downstream work we do in data centers." Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Kendra Titus.
Kendra Titus, 2961 Labette Road. I've been up here several times to speak. I am 400 feet from the data center. This affects my family directly, but I do not get a vote in this. We have emailed every one of these up here, and we've had one response. Thank you very much for the response. What I'm going to say is, I don't know what I'm going to say, but when the water was taken away from the Department of Ag 6 years ago, we knew something was up. They're trying to hide what they're doing with water. Be ready, be prepared. I know that a lot of times that people think you're getting honest answers as the city. You are not. This company is going to come in and they're going to bamboozle you, and you will not know what hit you. Be ready. Also, the sound. I've spoke to very, very many veterinarians. Yes, a constant sound kills. It doesn't just kill the little animals, it will kill you too. So if you're going to sit here and vote for your own death, that's what's going to happen. I know this is going to come to nothing because that's what I've been told. Nothing. It's going to come to nothing, and I know that you have wisdom. Every pastor that's come up here to speak, that is what their prayer is, wisdom. We are praying that you have wisdom to make the right decisions. Do not let this company try to take advantage of you. You have been lied to. So be ready and be prepared. If you need more information, it's all there. It's very simple to find. So don't go by a report that the company is giving you. Make sure that you're ready for it and be ready. And if you need more information on animal stuff, I have all of the information. Cattle, horses, pigs, I mean, every animal that it's going to affect. And if it affects the animals in this ill form that's been affecting them, it's going to affect our children. And also the freedom. We need freedom, and we need to think about the children in the future, because This is what it's all about, is the future of Ottawa, the citizens of Ottawa, and the county. And thank you much for your time.
Thank you, Kendra. Thank you all. That'll take us to item 9, declaration. At this time, I'd like to give the commissioners a chance to declare any conflict or communication they have received that might influence their ability to consider today's issues impartially. Hearing none, we will skip item 10, unfinished business. That'll take us to item 11A, new business. Public hearing to consider condemnation of a commercial structure located at 214 South Main Street. This public hearing has been called to consider the condemnation of a commercial structure located at 214 South Main Street. City staff will present information regarding the condition of the structure and the proposed condemnation with property improvement partner Hodges. And I will open the public hearing at 7:52.
Greetings, Mayor and Commissioners. This is regarding the hearing that you've scheduled for 214 South Main Street. We'll start by some pictures to refresh your memories. You've seen these when you set the hearing date. This is just an aerial showing the roof above the Main Street property. To the left, in the blue highlight, is the location of the building along Main Street. And to the right is a view from roughly right just inside the front door of the property, the Main Street door, so that you can see the bow in the ceiling. The next pictures, we'll refer to these later, show the interior ceiling that's bowing. The bowing is not an effect of the photograph itself. It really is bowing quite a bit like that. On May 1st, there was an inspection by the city building inspector. Found that the ceiling is deteriorating and collapsing due to a compromised roof. The structure was posted as unsafe for occupancy, and no known repairs have been made since the last staff report when you set the date for this hearing. The new information is that there was an engineer's assessment, and we have a copy of that since our last report. The assessment found the sagging portion of the false ceiling to be a fall hazard to occupants inside the building underneath that sagging portion. The assessment advised the owner to shore up the hazardous area, then remove the false ceiling to allow more complete assessment. The assessment reported that one visible floor beam appears fractured and indicates a need for a more thorough structural evaluation. The engineer's assessment was limited to just the first floor. The upstairs area and the roof were not addressed in the assessment. So Ottawa City Code, Chapter 6, Article 14, dangerous, safe, and blighted, dangerous, unsafe, and blighted structures, outlines the hearing process and the post-hearing process. If the commission issues a resolution ordering repair or demolition, it will include a deadline to begin work, and staff will monitor compliance, and repair is expected to start within 30 days. No legal or financial considerations to report. And the staff does recommend that the city commission, after conducting the public hearing, adopt a resolution ordering the repair or demolition of the structure located at 214 South Main. Alternative actions are to continue the hearing to a future date or to take no action.
So the property owner is here with us tonight, right?
Yes. You want to speak? Okay.
We know there's a problem, and we're trying to resolve the problem. But I mean, we're kind of caught in the middle where we're trying to have,
So the situation, we've been talking to Brett Wagner at Governmental Assistance Services in Lawrence, Kansas. He does work with state grants and things like that to get money to help repair downtown buildings in small towns. The problem that we have had is that unfortunately, by the time all this happened, the building condemnation, that kind of thing, by the time that happened and we started speaking to him, unfortunately, the money was all gone for the year. Unfortunately, it gets taken out pretty fast at the beginning of the year because there's, so many problems around the state. But we have been talking to him, working with him, and he says that if we can get the process started in August or September, he said, either, somewhere in that area, then he will, so what we would need for him, we would need to do the requirements for the grant, and he would work with us on that. And then what they do is they stay up until midnight on 11:59 on January 31st, December 31st, sorry. And then they submit it immediately at midnight. That way they can have the best chance of getting the money. And he said if we can do all those things that are required for the grant, and we have, we've talked to him about that, that we have a very good chance of getting that money since they put it in right at the very beginning. But yeah, that's
kind of where we're at. I mean, we're
and
trying to do repairs on the roof. I've been living on the roof, trying to repair the roof. It's getting better, but it's just, it's a long, drawn out process, no doubt. But it's getting better. We're just trying to keep it alive.
until we can get the funds to replace the roof and yeah.
So commissioners, just to say, Director Finch and I did meet with the property owners, and part of the issue here is they did get a partial engineering study done, but I believe some of that drop ceiling needs to come down so the engineer could get in there and take a better look. And I think we did come to an agreement that they plan to work on some of that drop ceiling within the interior of the building, which is a little bit more cosmetic than the actual structure of the roof line. So I believe they are going to be working to pull a demolition or permit or working on that internally to get some of that drop ceiling removed so the engineer is able to kind of go back in and assess, what the integrity of the roof line is. So.
And also like to, I don't know, you guys probably know the report, but the inside ceiling that is drooping is not the roof. It is the false ceiling that's like, it was put in the late 70s or something, that's held up by wires. And those wires for several times have rusted and it's been 45 years. So that's why that false ceiling is sagging. But that part is, like the engineer said, we just need to get rid of that false ceiling to then look at all the beams, make sure all the beams are good and go from there.
What have you done so far to keep any rain from getting into the building?
Well, that's what I've been doing, is working on that. But in the middle
But
of all
can you
this,
tell me what you've done?
just coated the roof. Yeah, coated the roof and
There's a significant hole. I don't know if coating it would suffice. I mean, I would assume that,
well,
and I'm not an engineer, I'm just a dumb electrician, like I always say.
sure.
So, I would, a tarp, some way to keep the water to maybe run towards the back or anything like that?
Well, we've used this material, this rubberized material.
And we had just gotten that
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago, and that's what we were talking about.
And I appreciate your update. My concern, we're gonna start getting into winter, and we're gonna go from water to snow and ice. So then now you're gonna have more of a load on that roof. So if you already have damage done to trusses, roof rafters, or whatever's there,
Right.
I really get concerned about what more damage could be done if there's nothing done in the interim before any of those grants are available.
Sure, and that is the plan. We plan to make sure that no weight is going to be on that part before the winter gets there. And the picture that you saw is not a hole; it's a sink. So it's not like it's just like an open hole where there's water pouring into the building, but it's just a sinkhole. I know that there obviously are leaks inside. That's we're not arguing that or anything, but that picture that you saw is not just like a giant empty hole.
Yeah, it's not like an open hole.
Yeah.
So the rubber membrane of the roof is still attached, is that what you're saying? Okay, and it's just pooling right there?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I understand.
Okay.
When you zoom in, you can see it a little bit better, so, thank you.
Does this roof damage run the entire distance, east and west? What percent would you say is the problem on the roof?
Oh, you're saying from front to back?
Yeah, front to back,
Front to
east to
back?
west.
Probably, I'd say 20 feet, 30 feet.
And the rest of it?
In the middle.
Yeah.
The ends are fine. The ends are fine. Yeah, that's just right in the middle.
And thank you for being here tonight. You know, I work on dilapidated structures as well, and so I understand I would not have the money to fix the repair that you guys are needing to do. Have you guys explored other avenues? I think, you know, we at this table we look at a lot of grants downtown. We've got HEAL grants going on. We have some of these things. And those processes are competitive. People apply for multiple years. Have you guys talked to a bank to say, can we get creative? Could we get a loan that would potentially pay back? I don't know if they would do that. I know you guys aren't listed on the National Register, you're a non-contributing building, you know, but I think if you did, you know, some of the things they need to become a contributing building, there's tax credits. And if there's creative ways, you know, trying to think of a solution to save the building, save you guys. You know, I know downtown, our roofs and our sewers are about the biggest concerns because they're huge
Yeah,
dollar
but
item.
You got Sarah here. I mean, is there like a tax credit option for that building?
Yeah, if you want to.
Yeah, they could possibly start something in the interim while they're waiting to see if they get the
So
grant.
I had spoke with them about this as well. They have a front slip cover on the front of their building. That is the wood slats. That is all that is keeping them from being a contributing building for the tax credits. If they were to remove that slip cover and expose the front of that building, it would automatically qualify for 40% back with the historical tax credits. That roof would qualify in there, as well as the if there's any electrical that needed to be updated or anything like that. I've also reached out and had conversations with them regarding like our IWW loan. We don't have enough in our funds right now that could cover all of that, but we do have some funds in our 0% interest loan that we could create some kind of stack with this. It's one of those, you have to spend some money to take that slipcover off, but in the end, is it worth that 40% back to be able to make that repair?
Property improvement partner Hodges, you might be able to touch on this. Do you know if, you know, in our stuff, there's a lot of talk of work being done. If that is, you know, they are doing work, maybe it's a temporary structure that has TPO, something like that over the top of it until they can get the engineer's report and finance a true roof repair. Do you know in that kind of process what options might look like to maybe keep moving forward until they can potentially financially do the repairs necessary? Would that qualify, I guess, as work occurring?
I believe so, Mr. Clayton. I can't give you a final answer on that, but from my understanding of the spirit of the code and the flexibility that you have as decision makers in this, that we could consider that work being done if directed to do so.
And I know
Thank you.
we've talked in other, you know, in the cases at the last meeting as well about how, you know, communication is ongoing. So if you find out that work is being done, then, you know, we can have a little leeway in the time periods, correct?
The one thing I think I would worry about because of the hole that's in the roof, if you get water in there and it builds weight, sinks more, builds more weight, builds more. So you actually have to kind of keep the water from attributing to more heavier loads on the roof to do that. So yeah, are there ways to try to patch that or level it up to keep that from happening? Yeah, so those are things definitely in the intermediate process you'd want to try to do before you got to the heavier rains and the ice and snow. Kind of similar to Kemper Arena back in the days when it had its collapse. That's really what was occurring at that point with the additional water weight that accumulates on the roof.
Thank you. I think, you know, Commissioner Crowley mentioned as well, you know, a lot in building codes, it's snow load. Rain's not a load, snow's the load. And that, you know, trying to think of something before winter gets here, and if we get 12 inches of snow, what might happen if there's something not able to be done with that. I know up there, you know, part of the resolution is repair or demolish. I, for one, do not want to demolish any building in our downtown corridor. Would the option be, I think it was mentioned a few weeks ago, and I don't have my notes in front of me. If someone does not repair the building, does the city take it over, repair it, and then does that get added to property taxes? Or how does is that like a special assessment if the city has to come and do repairs to save, or what would that kind of process look like?
Yeah, Mayor Clayton, it's a good question, and we specifically made sure that was in this particular resolution, the option to repair. And if that's the case, then the cost that the city bears in doing that would be billed to the property owner. And if that's not paid within a specified amount of time, it can be applied to the real estate taxes of the county.
Okay.
To the property owners, have you reached out to a roofer for a quote on what it would cost to repair the roof?
No.
Can you come up to the mic, please?
No, we have not. No, we have not.
Uh,
We can
because-
work on that.
Well,
Yeah,
I would assume eventually you're going to have to hire a licensed, roofing contractor.
Oh, yeah.
And
sure,
so
Sure.
and the only reason I'm asking, I own 2 buildings downtown, and I think you're going to be shocked at what a new roof's going to
Oh, I
cost.
know that. Yeah.
And that's why, I mean, I appreciate you reaching out, to access the grant and, talking to Sarah and stuff. I just really get concerned because of what those cost.
Have you guys reached out to Ryland with the Chamber of Commerce? I know they have e-community loan options. I don't know if that can go towards a building repair. I know it can't go towards like inventory for a business or other options for kind of creative
Sure. And
funds.
I've never heard of it.
Okay.
I've never heard of
I don't know what all, so it may be, a non-starter, but I
Right.
know they do have loan options for businesses and stuff as they start. I don't know if they continue once a business is in place or how that would work for a building.
Right.
And you said, what was the
It's Ryland Miller. He's with the president of the Chamber of Commerce.
So I'll just say, Mr. Mayor, that it's good news that they're tuned in with GAS. They're kind of in tune with a lot of the state and grants, and then likewise connecting with Sarah at Main Street to look at those historical grants shows they're making progress there. Just as a reminder, you're adopting a resolution, same as the last meeting when we talked about this on a few other properties, just to keep this process moving. So, we can come back to you in 30 days, stay in touch with the property owners, ensure that they've made some progress to, get an engineer in there to tell us, for a fact if, this is a great risk of structural collapse, or, well, it's, there's some issues, but it can last for a little bit longer and give you a little bit more runway to apply for grants or identify contractors or whatever else. So really the resolution before you deny it is just to authorize, staff to move forward and keep in touch with the property owners to keep progress moving here. So, likewise, if you wanted to, just go ahead and set a public hearing for this time next month or middle of September, whatever, just as a follow-up, you can do that as well. But again, by passing the resolution, if something does happen and it does collapse, you have the protection of that resolution if you do have to go in on an emergency basis and make a repair. So.
One thing I forgot to ask as well, we had one a few weeks ago that was because of the tornado. Were you guys able to do an insurance claim? Was there any option kind of in that avenue, at least for maybe a portion or something like that?
There's not.
Or I mean, not through the tornado, just an insurance claim for the building.
No, there's not. There's, the insurance company's known this has been going on forever.
Mhm.
So yeah, well, I shouldn't say forever, but, yeah, they eliminate certain things, if it's not taken care of. So
Yeah.
they eliminate the roof is what they do.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
It certainly sounds like time is of the essence here. How can you assure us to be able to remove what needs to be removed so an engineer could get in there to fully review it?
That's what we're hoping for, yeah.
And we have everything for the shoring and everything to do that, to then begin, to put up, obviously.
Shoring, yeah, shoring pieces.
Before taking out the false ceiling, and we have all of that, ready to go.
So how soon could engineer get in there?
You know, is there an option? When I had the building downtown, the roof was leaking a lot, and there was no way I could eat that expense. Yeah, it was just, so I actually did it in like over 2 years. I did the front half of the building, and then I did the back half the following year. Would there be any kind of an option to do that, just kind of split that expense up any, or I don't know how bad the roof or what kind of shape it's in, or
For anything, yeah, like I say, if we can just get that center part,
yeah, that's the problem. It's right in the middle.
yeah, right in the middle.
And it's on the lower roof.
Yeah.
There's 2 floors. There's a second floor that's that, and then that part is on the bottom.
The very lower part of the roof, so you could split it up if you had to.
Commissioner Skidmore, can you ask your question about the engineer again? Because I don't think they were able to answer.
Well, yeah, how soon could you commit to getting it repaired and ready for a review by an engineer?
Well, I'm hoping, because we need to get that false ceiling out.
Yeah.
Not the entire, just where there is damage.
Right.
And that's, right now, I'm dealing with all kinds of health issues, and I think this has caused all these health issues I have now.
I'm sorry for that, yeah.
No, I was on the roof for hours Saturday, Sunday, yeah. And weekend before that, but I'm trying to do everything I can do to stop it.
Okay, because, part of my concern too is this causing other buildings on either side to be compromised anyway? And I'd be concerned about that. If something collapsed, then it will pull other.
And in the engineer's report, he said that he didn't believe there was any danger to
Neighboring buildings.
neighboring structures, yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm kind of like a commitment of some kind. I'm in respect to your health. We got to find out how soon we could get an engineer in there. If we
Yeah.
just don't make a commitment of any
I
kind.
mean, can we get 45 days and then come back, or, I mean, it's gonna take a little bit to get that
Yeah.
false ceiling out of there.
Well, and I understand, and we've had kind of a wet year, unfortunately for your cause. I mean, fortunately
Yeah,
for the rest
doesn't
of
help.
our farmers love it, I know, but
Doesn't
it's
help,
been
yeah.
tough for you guys, I guess.
Go ahead.
So sorry, by the time you publish the resolution, there's kind of a 30-day window. So you'd be tracking pretty close to that 40 or 45. And if we can stay in touch, weekly or every other week with the property owner, we can certainly keep you updated. Sorry, Commissioner
No,
Allen.
that's exactly what I was going to say. Just keeping in communication, and then knowing that, work in progress may look a little bit different in this situation than what it might in others. So I think just having that communication and knowing that things are moving along still would be sufficient.
In terms of building the shoring for the temporary, what do you need? Do you need people?
No.
Do you need people to help move things? Do you guys, just thinking with this tornado, we had a large outpouring from the community of people who helped. This past weekend, we see a lot of that online. And I mean, I know as a contractor, if you need help on a Saturday, if you are to the point you're physically unable, like I would willing to come help move things, help build walls. If you needed to get those things so that ball can kind of keep rolling. And so if you guys have that need, I would say reach out. If you are physically unable to do stuff, and it's
I can do it.
well, I know you
fight
can
through
do it.
I fight through it, so.
I know I deal with this with my father, so he
Okay.
can do it. Doesn't mean he should do it.
That's
So
right. I know,
if there are things that you need, I would say to ask for help. I think there's a lot of other contractors, other people who would come help to get to the point that the engineer could look, and then that will be your kind of determining factor, maybe good or bad.
Right.
But at least you'll kind of know at that point. So I would just add that before we make a motion or do anything, that if you guys need help, like reach out. There will be people I think who would show up to help do that stuff as well if you need.
Yeah. Do you have an email address? And we're not asking you to do it
Yeah.
specifically, but if you have people that
Yeah, no, I can definitely get that to you guys. So if you want to reach out, and then I can get you a list of people who could help. If you need list roofers, community development as well. You call the department, you could get a list of licensed roofers. You could just start making phone calls to say, come look and tell me, what could maybe happen. And so I think they will be a great partner in helping find those resources for those people that you need as well. Do we have any other questions for either the building owner, for community development, or any other city staff? Okay. With that, do you have anything before we close the hearing? Okay. With that, I will close the public hearing for 214 South Main Street at 8:16. That'll take us to item 11B, request for approval of resolution to condemn a commercial structure at 214 South Main Street. This resolution authorizes the governing body to declare the commercial structure at 214 South Main Street to be unsafe or dangerous and to direct that such structure be demolished or repaired and made safe and secure.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion. We approve item 11B on our agenda.
I'll second that.
A motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? I guess one question I would have on discussion. Reading the resolution, it does say demolished or repaired. What options do we have, I would say, if it gets to the point that they are unable to repair the roof, maybe potentially unable to save the building? What do we have as an option to say, eventually we will take the building and save it? If I guess the five of us deem.
Blaine's online.
Okay.
So if you want to ask him,
Blaine, can you hear me?
or at least he
Good
wants.
evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioner.
I'm not sure if you heard my question. I just,
I did.
at the very beginning, just what would be the options if at the end of this, it gets to the point they're unable to repair and it's leaning towards demolition? I guess that's my concern, is trying to ensure that it doesn't go that without us having another chance to make a decision prior to demolition happening.
So, two answers for you, Mr. Mayor. One, it sounds like nothing significant may happen in the next 30 days based on the owner's representations tonight. This will be back in front of you within 30 days for either an extension of time and a report on progress, or for you to take action. You have the ability to order the repair of the property, or to make the repair of the property, or cause it to be made. You will recall the Koch house, Koch house, over at 308 on Elm Street. And that house had a roof that was compromised, and the city ended up hiring a roofer to put a new roof on that structure to save the structure itself. It's of course now been purchased and rehabilitated and is a community asset. But the city took a $25,000 lien on that property for the value of the new roof and caused the roof to be repaired. So there is precedent in Ottawa for the city commission to order something repaired, to take bids and hire a contractor to have it done, and then to take a lien for that amount against the property, so that when it is eventually sold, the city is paid back for the investment of dollars to save that asset.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? May I have roll call, please?
How do you vote, Commissioner Skidmore?
Yes.
Commissioner Van Layden?
Yes.
Commissioner Allen?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Crowley?
Yes.
And Mayor Clayton?
I vote yes. Motion passes. Thank you guys for being here. That'll take us to item 11C, Old Marais River Run Car Show and Power of the Past Tractor Show review. Chief Weidengartner will provide a review of the Old Marais River Run Car Show and Power of the Past Tractor Show, including event logistics and public safety measures. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. As you're well aware, coming up in the next month are two of our community's largest and most attended events. And just want to give you a little bit of an overview of kind of our plan on how we staff those and how those go off with all of our community partners. And last year when I did this, I kind of did tractor show, one meeting, and then car show a little bit after that. But really for us, it's about the same plan. So just combined them into one presentation for you, so we're not repeating stuff over and over again. And they are back-to-back weekends in September for us. So the purpose of our plan is to provide a safe and accessible space in Forest Park to hold Power of the Past and the Antique Engine and Tractor Show. Attached is a copy of the schedule for the events for all of the days of that. This is available on the Power of the Past website. So if anyone has any information about what's happening in the times, they're all there listed on the website where you can download that schedule as a PDF or see that. Now, we do have a planning meeting with both organizations, the Tractor Show organization and the Car Club. We had that about a month ago to talk about things that they're looking to do or change for this year. And of course, after each of the events, we do an after-action review where we kind of work through any issues that we might have encountered. So those meetings are always productive, and so thankful for both of the organizations that we work with in that. They're all volunteer. It takes Herculean efforts for those volunteers to pull these events off in our community, and they are just really good people to work with to help us out as we plan these events. So the schedule of events, let's see, hold on a second. Okay, there you go. Schedule the events for the car show, and the purpose of the plan is similar to Tractor Show, except for the car show, we provide a safe and accessible space in Forest Park. And then on Saturday night, we move downtown in the Central Business District for the cruise night. Friday night of the car show in Forest Park, there is a concert. Setup begins early to midweek, and the Parks Department and all of the other city services start bringing in the equipment and resources that they need for the vendors to start coming in and setting up to be ready to go for Friday. So Friday evening between 5 and 9, there's a concert in Forest Park. And then on Saturday morning, the cars actually start arriving pre-dawn. So right around 5 a.m., we'll have cars lined up at the front gate, starting to want to get their spot in the park that they really like to park their really nice cars under to do that. So we'll have volunteers and car show staff there starting overnight and throughout that event. The car show runs through 2 p.m. on Saturday, and then the cruise night downtown is from 4 to 9 p.m. And this is the second year of the change, doing it 4 to 9 instead of 5 to 10. And that was a request from the Car Club to end this 1 hour earlier downtown. And then we'll have posted information out downtown. We'll share it on social media, and we'll continue to repeat that in all of our media sources, that there will be significant parking restrictions downtown to affect cruise night. We start that closing the streets down by around 3 p.m. Saturday afternoon. The cruise night is scheduled to start at 4. It takes us just about an hour to remove any cars that may be remaining down there. And although we may have to tow them, we do relocate them to a lot. And then the owners of those vehicles don't end up paying or incurring any fee to do that. The Car Club contracts with a local tow service to assist removal of those vehicles safely. But we make every effort to try to have those not towed. And we usually are really successful to do that. The streets will reopen Saturday night. Right around 11 o'clock is what we aim for. Helpful information for people who may be interested to attend is registration is, of course, online in advance. Friday, you can do it at the Forest Park Large Shelter, and then Saturday at the Franklin County Visitor Center on K68. There is trailer parking and vehicle offloading at the K68 just west of I-35. Some may know that lot as the former Underwood lot right there in the corner, and then the Orlis Cox ball fields. In Forest Park, there'll be Car Club staff at the main gate and located throughout the park, and volunteers to help direct parking or direct where you might need any help. And they do run nearby shuttles for other city lot parking not associated with the park. So they'll shuttle you down there if you park downtown, so you can get park downtown, have your spot for the cruise night, go to the car show, and then they'll have you shuttled back where you need to go. For car show participants, Friday or Saturday night for the cruise night, they'll start entering around 4 o'clock. The last 2 years, we've been about 10 minutes early, which is pretty good to start for that. And if we are done, we ask the Car Club if they want us to start early, and if they do, then we can open that up just a little bit early. If we have a lot of cars still down there, downtown there, we have to remove, we might be closer to that or just a few minutes after that. The Car Club does ask that all cars back straight into their parking spots downtown. So all of our parking downtown on Main Street is angle. They ask you to park straight in. If it's angled, those cars stick out too far, and it cuts down on those travel lanes to do that. So they ask to do that. And as always, we ask people who are attending there, plan ahead. There is a lot of traffic. There is limited parking, but there is plenty of parking downtown and on the city streets located downtown. Go slow. There's lots of pedestrians. There's lots of slow-moving vehicles. Sometimes these vehicles do overheat and break down, and we do need to work to get those off the roadway. And then, of course, watch for other traffic that's trying to come in and see the event downtown. And advanced planning helps us ensure a smooth event, and that definitely helps out for all of our planning purposes. For cruise night and after, between volunteers from the car club and volunteer groups that kind of staff the barricades on the alleys or other areas to help restrict parking, there's about 100 people downtown that are volunteering their time to pull this off for the car club. And additional to that, there's a whole nother group that'll come in after the cruise night's over that help clean up downtown and return it looking just as good as before we started. So the cruise night route remains the same. Cars will come out of the park, and then through a series of turns, they're going to end up on Main Street, go down to Park Street. They'll circle around Park to Hickory to Fifth back to Main. They'll drive back to the park, do a loop around the park to start all over again. And kind of that continuous 50s loop, which I'm sure some of you in the audience may have done a time or two back when you guys were youth in the community too. So we're still doing all the fun stuff. After it's over, we ask that all vehicles be removed. So that includes all of the participants of the cruise night. And the purpose for that is because we have kids and 4-H groups that come in and clean up downtown. And they start on one end, they line all the way across the street, and they move from south all the way to north until the downtown is spotless. And it is pristine by the time they are done. Barricades and volunteers remain in place during that cleanup to make sure that no other vehicle traffic gets in, to keep those pedestrians and volunteers safe. And of course, our goal is to then have the streets back open, the street lights turned back operational by 11 o'clock that night. Public safety locations will be located at both the tractor show and the car show in Forest Park. Franklin County EMS will be on site during day hours and provide medical support. Franklin County Emergency Management will have their command trailer in Forest Park as an operational base for all of us that are working down there to operate out of. And then if anyone needs us, they know a central location where they can go and get some assistance. And we'll have our officers down there as well. And the Ottawa Fire Department provides fire support at both of the events, maybe a little bit differently for tractor show to car show, but they'll be there and available. EMS is located near the main shelter house in Forest Park at the command post for the tractor show and for the car show. And then during cruise night, we move medical response down to 3rd and Main, where we staff both police, fire, EMS teams that can respond into the downtown area to evac anyone that might need a medical support. And then ambulances can transport them safely from just outside of the detail area. The police department uses a combination of bike and foot patrols, UTV patrols, and patrol cars to monitor the area during the events. Our volunteer unit, Volunteers and Police Services, provides overnight security at both events. So they'll be down there starting Friday evening and finishing up Sunday morning, in addition to manning all of the many of the traffic and pedestrian crossing points downtown during cruise night. And our police and fire departments will use our drones and UAS teams to conduct periodic patrols and aerial patrols during the cruise night. And that's been a really good piece of technology that's helped us reduce the number of people that we need. Instead using that technology, and so we can look what's going on, and if we need to dispatch officers to an area, we can dispatch them much more quickly to do that, especially on those bike teams downtown. They can move around so safely. And pre-staging our emergency responders ensures safety and security for all that are involved and expedites any emergency responses into the large crowds that are located downtown during the car show. And of course, our team is planning as a collaborative effort among all of our city and county departments, including the police department, the fire department, all of our city departments that assist us, and agencies from Wellsville and Franklin County that include Franklin County Emergency Management, EMS, Emergency Communications, and the Sheriff's Office. And I will say that part of the reason why the emergency response happened so well to the tornado is because we have been using that same and similar process, planning, protocols for years. That was not new to any of us when we had the tornado hit. So we implemented the same plan, the same processes, the same safety partners, and we worked so well together on this for so many years, it just rolled right into that emergency response. And I'm very thankful for all the work that Franklin County Emergency Management has done for us over the years to kind of prep and plan for this. And you definitely see and feel how safe of an event it is downtown. You saw some of that in our emergency responses earlier this year. City departments budget for costs associated with providing our city services as part of our annual budget planning process. We request additional assistance from outside agencies who provide additional staffing from surrounding counties at no cost to our city. They do that as a mutual aid request and send their staff in here. The same if they were to ask us to respond, we would go to their communities and do that, much like we did over 4th of July, for example, in Baldwin, when they asked us for some assistance during FIFA for an event that they had. We sent some folks up there, and in fact, for the first time, because we went up there, they asked if they could come down and volunteer at our car show. So they're going to come down and help us out for that as well. This is for information only. I ask for no action or approval or anything, but I stand for any questions if you have any.
Thank you for that. And, it's gone off so smoothly for so long. I appreciate that you guys still every year put the same amount of effort into it because it only takes 1 year. And, I remember going down basically my whole life to the car show without any incident. And so that's a testament to you guys and the planning that you guys put into it as well. For the VIPs, you talked about they do the overnight and so many other duties. How many VIPs do you have?
We have about 15 volunteers.
Just 15?
15.
Oh,
Most of them have full-time jobs. Some of them are retirees. We actually have some young folks that have joined the organization in the last few years. But yeah, they put in a lot of hours in the month of September. And I'll just share with you because I'm doing some of my preparation for the next round of quarterly reports. But in July, they put in 107 hours of volunteer time in July.
oh wow.
And you mentioned different cities that participate with, as you mentioned Baldwin and Wellsville. Are there others as well?
Yeah, Lawrence Police Department, Gardner Police Department, Emporia Police Department, Leawood Police Department, of course, Franklin County and Wellsville help us out. We have some state agencies, the Kansas Highway Patrol will be helping us out, patrolling around. Normally, the University of Kansas Police Department helps us out. But if KU is busy or KU is doing anything, we don't bother them. And this year, KU has a game overseas. So we're not going to tap them. They're probably going to be busy with travel with their team. But they've been wonderful partners for us for many, many years.
That's good to hear. Thank you.
Any other questions for Chief? Thank you. And thank you for, all of the work that you guys have put in and prep for this. And so
Thank you.
just hopefully no rain this year, right?
Yeah.
You
Is
may
that
have
more
to ask
Tom?
somebody else.
That's-
I'm
okay.
trying to work with the 80 officers down there. The car show may want a little bit of rain to end it early. We may want it to rain, but we still want all the money going down to Main Street.
Yes.
So I guess we'll do that.
That's a good answer. Thank you. That'll take us to item 12, comments by city manager.
Honorable Mayor and Commissioners, operational highlights for fire was focused on youth activities last week that included spray days at Sunflower Elementary School and assisted the police department with DARE Camp, water games, along with Williamsburg Fire and LOH Fire. Lieutenant Schrade presented a fire safety program at Ottawa University resident assistance. Water reclamation, we restored River Lift Station after clearing blockage caused by debris. Operator Ryan Reynolds earned his Class 5 wastewater operator certification. Electric production successfully installed a spare breaker after Unit 7 experienced internal breaker failure. Electric distribution completed new flashing pedestrian crosswalk at 15th and Ash Street. So thanks for crews to getting that in before school starts. Water treatment, 2 operators earned their Class 1 water operator certifications. Public Works and Parks, we continued mowing and weed eating operations, supported multiple community event preparations, including DARE Camp. Streets continued the chip seal preparation repairs on Funston, completed repairs at 15th and Ash for the flashing light installation, and painted additional school crosswalks and stop bars. I have a few pictures over there of repairs on K68. A couple of developments or updates on some of the housing developments that are going on locally. So this is Northeast Village, Legacy Lofts here downtown. Woodridge Estates over there on the north part of town. And then recently we had a ribbon cutting for the Hidden Lakes development. Upcoming events, Saturday, August 8th, there will be farmers market from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Tractor Supply. now until August 10th, Ottawa Recreation Commission Fall Sports Registration. Third Thursdays downtown on August 20th from 5 to 8 p.m. Lastly, we have employment opportunities. If you visit our city website, you can see those and apply for those. And items for next week include a mid-year grant report, quarterly department reports with active project updates, downtown master plan RFP selection, and agreement with Lori Brothers Construction. That'll take any questions.
Thank you. One first question I had, and it's, do we have an update on 15th and Main? The work that's going on or planned for there?
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. I'm glad you asked that question. Tomorrow at 1 p.m., we will be doing the bid opening right here in this room for that project. We anticipate quite a few bids coming in. We do anticipate the construction start well after the big events coming in September. So when I say well after, I'm hopeful within a couple weeks after, but anyway, the process will become known actually tomorrow. We'll have a better idea when we could see a start date.
Awesome.
You might tell us what was going on so everybody hearing will know what's going on at 15th and Main.
Okay, to give a quick update, we are updating our traffic signals on all the entire intersection and crosswalks, and we are also extending a sidewalk down the north side of 15th Street from Main Street along Dairy Queen side to connect to the rail trail sidewalk there, running along the north side of the road there.
It's a good project. I'm seeing more and more pedestrians at that intersection, and I'm thinking, yes, this is good timing. Let's get this done. So
Yep.
great, good work.
Yep, and school getting back in session. and It should be completed by the time they're walking in the spring to Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then one more on 11th Street sidewalk. We were going to put a sidewalk in. Were we on that project too? Getting close. Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. Thanks.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
City manager, for maybe you, or I don't know if the city attorney's still on, we've had some questions today about August 1st. Do we have an update for that we can share, what their answer was, what? the
I don't
current
have an
status-
update on that. Perhaps we can consult with the city attorney and bring something back to the next meeting, or an update in the near future on what the status of that is, but I don't have anything for you right now.
Okay. Yeah, I think something for next week, an update on what decision was made, what the process looks like. I know it's been a big date for so many people, especially the people who've been here speaking. I think it's fair, to the five of us as well, and them to know where we are, what is happening, and that. So I think if we could put that on the schedule for next week, I think that would be great.
Certainly.
Do we have any other questions or comments for staff? City manager? Thank you. That'll take us to item 13, comments by the governing body. Commissioner Van Leeden.
I just give kudos out to Chief Weingartner and his crew for getting another successful dare camp that's finished up. So until next year, that's all I got.
Commissioner Allen.
I have no comment.
Commissioner Skidmore.
Nothing more to add.
Mayor Pro Tem Crowley.
No comment.
And I will just reiterate that as well. This was my first time having a kid in dare camp, and I never knew how cool it was. I'm really jealous. Is there an adult version planned that at some point we can come and, okay, I might have to do that. It looks like a lot of fun and gets real dirty. I do want to say congratulations. Yesterday was, we had an election. I'm sure lots of people who are listening or in this room voted. So congratulations to all those people who made it through the primary onto the November election. There was a lot of people that showed up for that, and so that was great. And then thank you to County Chair Meter for being here as well. We appreciate appreciate you being here and for the whole meeting as well. So just want to say thank you for that. With nothing else, that takes us to item 14, announcements. August 12th, we have a city commission meeting here at 4 p.m. in City Hall. August 19th, we have a city commission meeting here at 10 a.m. in City Hall. And August 26th, we have a joint meeting with the Planning Commission at 4 p.m. here in City Hall. With nothing else to come before the commission, we are adjourned.